transfer season is weird. Hello, I am the Irish guy. And yes, today I'm going to take a look at every Premier League club and predict the next big player who is leaving you this summer. And lads, if I even get 50% of this list right, then you all have to tell me I'm as clever as a scientist. Right, let's go. Arsenal, Jorginho, Flamengo. Okay, this one is a tap-in because it is about 98% done. Kiss goodbye to Jorginho's Premier League career because at the age of 33, he's now decided to just go back to Brazil to go to Flamengo on a free. I mean, he hasn't actually played football in Brazil since he was 16, so this is a cute little transfer. Although a little strange to see him giving up on European football just about 10 minutes after he nearly won a Ballon d'Or. But even more weirdly, he's literally going to be playing against Chelsea in the Club World Cup this month. So Chelsea fans, you can tell us all after that match if this guy really does now with the fitness of a fat spider. But yeah, he's off. This is a tap-in. Aston Villa, Emiliano Martinez, Al Nassr. Emiliano Martinez is at a weird point in his career because he's officially the best goalkeeper on planet Earth. I know there'll be a chunk of you out there who will disagree with that, but it's official. That is what FIFA thinks of him. Someone used to play for Oxford and Rotherham. Yeah, I don't think anybody thought he was a future world champ when he was covered in mud, getting nutmegged by strikers who were still working in Morrison's at 23, wiping wet milk and dog food off the floor. But look, the writing is on the wall. Martinez has already kissed goodbye to the Villa fans, although that was before he single-handedly cost them Champions League football for next year. Wow, what a way to leave by getting that shameless red card at Old Trafford. Him leaving Villa Park after that, it's a bit like breaking up with your wife of 5 years by pooing in her kettle and sneaking out through the bathroom window. But look, he's already linked to the move to the Saudi Pro League, a division which just seems to be so alluring to goalkeepers. Edouard Mendy joined Al Ahly just 2 years after he was named best goalkeeper on the planet. Yassine Bono snuck off to Al Hilal when his stock was sky high just months after helping Morocco reach a World Cup semi-final and then helping Sevilla win another Europa League. I mean, last summer, Wojciech Szczesny was so devastated to see a move to Al Nassr collapse that he actually retired in disgust, taking his ball and going home and only having to be talked out of retirement by Barcelona. So yes, Martinez is the next Mendy. Have fun playing in a stadium so empty, you can hear the dog barking next door. Bournemouth, Milos Kerkez, Liverpool. Yeah, this one is a nailed-on, worst-kept secret in the Premier League. It just makes so much sense. Liverpool need a new left-back because Andy Robertson is understandably exhausted after cramming in nearly 400 games for the Reds into just 8 years. Kerkez is such an obvious fit. He's 21 years old, a top-quality left-back. He's a Hungarian international teammate of Dominic Szoboszlai, and he was brought to Bournemouth by Liverpool's current sporting director. If this transfer doesn't happen, then I would eat my underpants. Brentford, Brighton, and Bemo Man United. Poor Brentford. After having Ivan Toney linked away from this club for years, Thomas Frank was probably a bit relieved that none of his under-the-radar players were now gonna get the transfer gossip that this legitimate superstar had. Oh no, then Brian Bemo decides to explode with a 20-goal season from the wing, and he's now woken up interest from Newcastle and Man United. I mean, this one kind of stinks of a Man United deal. They're definitely interested in him. He'll be a neat little signing to chuck in as a number 10, and of course he's going to jump at the chance to join them. It's Manchester United. This is someone who's only 2 football clubs before this were Brentford and Troyes. I mean, Troyes is about as big time as a brat's lunchbox. Manchester United would probably cram £200,000 a week wages in his face. Absolutely, he would jump at the chance to move here. No, I'm sorry. No, he would probably agree to rip out his dead granny's teeth to secure a Manchester United move. And how ironic that it's him, and not Ivan Toney, who gets to join a monster club. Brighton, Karim Matoma, Bayern Munich. Look, after massive interest from Al Nassr in January, then yeah, Karim Matoma does kind of stink of a summer exit from Brighton. I mean, the guy turns 29 years old next season. If he wants to join a massive monster club, it's now. And apparently Vincent Kompany wants to sign in for Bayern Munich. Lads, the standard of the sizzling technique, close control and first touches in Bayern Munich training sessions must be at a sickening level already. Can you imagine being chucked into the middle of a Bayern Munich rondo? It would be more demoralizing than being forced to go on a date with your fat cousin who stinks of wee. And so yeah, adding Matoma to the mix, he'll be another delicious baller signing. Guys above, can you imagine a set of German fullbacks trying to cope with both Matoma and Olise on the wings? It would be more of a headache than listening to the best of Kylie Minogue. Burnley, James Trafford, Newcastle. Is he still at Burnley? I thought this one was going to be done by now because, lads, Newcastle United have been linked to buying James Trafford since before he was cool. Yeah, over a year ago, when he was getting dropped by Burnley in the Premier League, after letting in a bunch of goals and looking very overwhelmed, he looked a bit of a plump pumpkin who looked so incredibly nervous. And not just because he was worried that his stalker Thogden was waiting in his changing room stuffing his underpants. No, back then, the paper said that Eddie Howe wanted him at Newcastle, and to be honest, I thought that was underwhelming speculation. Most Geordies said, no thanks. Yeah, he's just had a promotion-winning season where he's kept 29 clean sheets in 46 games. He went months without conceding a goal. He was that division's peak Petr Cech. I think Scott Scott Parker will be devastated because the Magpies will wrap up a move for Trafford and maybe Burnley get Nick Pope in return. Chelsea, Trevor Chalobah, Everton. Okay, this one isn't being linked anywhere, but let's be real. This Chelsea model like to cash in on their homegrown produce. It's ruthless and mean, but Christ above. A year ago, they were literally binning off their reliable captain Conor Gallagher and making him rot in a Madrid hotel for a week. So nobody is safe at Stamford Bridge. And after banishing Trevor Chalobah to the reserves last summer, I know he's clawed back his Chelsea career, but still, I can see August move to Goodison Park. Here's the Palace, Mark Gahey, Newcastle. I think Mark Gahey joins either Chelsea or Newcastle this summer. Both clubs wanted this centre back last summer, although a bit embarrassing for Chelsea considering they literally chose to dump him to Palace a few years ago. Look, Gahey has since gone on to captain Crystal Palace to an FA Cup win. So do you think that his transfer interest has now just melted into a salmon pie? No, he's absolutely going to warrant huge interest again. And I think Chelsea will ultimately pick Jarrad Branthwaite. So I think Newcastle will be the one to break their club record transfer and pinch Gahey for 62 million beans. I mean, come on, Palace have to sell. He's out of contract next summer. Everton, Jarrad Branthwaite, Chelsea. This is the summer where Jarrad Branthwaite gets sold. Surely. And everyone, beware. Be careful when you're chucking your £100 million paychecks, because I guarantee you, he's just another Harry Maguire. Honestly, just you watch. He is a good mid-table standard. But when he gets the scrutiny at a massive club, he is going to look like a lanky pumpkin. But yeah, Chelsea want him, and yeah, I think it'll be like when they signed Wesley Fofana from Leicester. There'll be about 5 rejected bids. It'll be very messy, but yeah, in the end, a late August switch for 83 million, which will be such a silly transfer. Fulham, Marco Silva, Juventus. Yeah, I don't think Fulham will sell any star players, but right now, Juventus need a new boss. I mean, right now, they have Igor Tudor at the wheel. But look at the man's CV. This Croatian manager does not stick around anywhere longer than a couple of lunches. The club just shamelessly tried to steal Antonio Conte back from Napoli. He said no, probably because he was promised Kevin De Bruyne. And I think I speak for everyone when I say I cannot wait to see a midfield partnership of McTominay and De Bruyne. Imagine Scott going from being one half of a dreadful McFred double act to now this. McBroin! Even the name McBroin, that sounds like a James Bond villain from Glasgow. But McFred, that sounds like a meal you might get in a drive-thru where you might find someone's finger in the chicken nuggets. Some guy called Fred. And you may try to get Atalanta's John Perry Gasparini instead, but no, he's off to Roma. But yeah, now their target is Marco Silva. The incoming Juventus sporting director Dami Camoli is a huge admirer of him. And why not? Okay, Silva's been at Craven Cottage for 4 years. And when he took that job in the championship, he was seen as a joke. An absolute laughingstock after back-to-back sackings at Watford and Everton. His reputation was on the floor. So to now be in a position to accept a job offer from Juventus, I think he takes it. Leeds, nobody. Good news, Leeds. I don't think you said anyone. Next, Liverpool, Luis Diaz, Barcelona. Look, the Queven Keller to Brentford deal is about to wrap up soon. But yeah, Luis Diaz, I think, is gonna leave. Has the clubby winger ever seen that sell at Liverpool? Well, no, this man absolutely wants to move to Barcelona. Reports are saying he's about to snub a Liverpool contract to steal himself a move to the new camp. Although, why do Barcelona need another winger? Considering both Rafinha and Yamal just put up a combined 102 goal involvements this season. Seriously, look at Rafinha's numbers. They look like Messi stats. But Diaz is 29 next season. He wants Barcelona. I can see a £50 million move. Man City, Jack Grealish, Tottenham. I think Jack Grealish leaves Man City this summer. Surely he can't be happy with being embarrassingly left out of matchday squads. To not even be given a minute in the FA Cup final. For Pep Guardiola to give Claudio Echeverri his debut in that match instead. I'm sorry, but if Grealish does not immediately storm out the door this summer, then I can only surmise this bloke loves money too much. It feels like he's been a disappointing City pudding flop so long that I'm actually shocked he's not out of contract soon. No, he's still got 2 years left on his mega £300,000 a week deal. You're telling me he was given a whopping 6-year deal when he joined from Aston Villa, giving him a guaranteed 300k a week until he's 32? Whose insane idea was that? But look, and I reckon he actually joined Spurs. If you got Champions League football, he can link up with his old England rival James Maddison. I think he flourishes under Postecoglou. Yeah, Man United, Rasmus Hojlund, Inter Milan. Rasmus Hojlund needs to leave Man United. That Denmark international striker is having an absolute nightmare. It's been so bad, literally awful. But after looking semi-decent at Atalanta, then yeah, he's got admirers back in Italy, and apparently Inter Milan want him now. And Inter Milan, who right now are an absolute mess. Lads, back in 2010, Jose Mourinho proudly walked out in Inter Milan one day after helping them clinch the treble in the Bernabeu Stadium. And he himself was being rewarded with the biggest job in football at Real Madrid. But Simone Inzaghi is walking away in shame after a trophy-less season where they were embarrassed 5-0 in the Champions League final, the single most humiliating defeat in a European Cup final ever. And one team conceded 7. Lads, this is exactly what Jamie Carragher was terrified of when his Liverpool side were 3-0 down at halftime to AC Milan in 2005. I mean, forget about thinking about winning that match. Oh no, he was desperate not to embarrass his club forever by contributing to the single worst performance in Champions League final history. Yeah, Inter have done that instead. 5-0, even Mayulu scored. Who is Mayulu? This is the first time ever that I've seen someone score in a Champions League final who I did not know existed before that night. Inter are absolutely in the mud. Apparently Diego Simeone is top of their wish list. But no, this Atletico Madrid legend is not joining a team who just mentally crumble like hobnobs in the biggest game in football. It'll be something weird like Christian Kivu from Parma, which is about as thrilling as when Man United got Oli. Honestly, 2 weeks ago, Inzaghi was held up as the best young coach in the world. But I promise you, if he joins Al Hilal now, with this match being the lasting memory of him in European football, then his career is done. So yeah, this transfer is weird because there's so much going on at Inter Milan right now. But yeah, why not? I mean, they'll rescue Hojlund like they rescued Lukaku in 2019. And will it be any good for them? No. Newcastle, Tino Livramento, Man City. The transfer speculation worries me. It actually makes me feel like I'm eating poisoned shrimp. But yeah, Man City's long-term replacement for Kyle Walker is Tino Livramento. I'm not shocked. I've seen this one coming for years. First of all, I was liking Tino before it was cool. I remember saying he should have gone to the World Cup in Qatar, and those comments made me sound like I had melted cheese between the ears. But look, he's 22 and a superb footballer. He's quick, technically brilliant, can play on either side of the pitch. And Man City want him. I think Tino's head could get turned. Come on, he's at a brilliant progressing club right now, sure. But all it takes is for a Man City chief to show him a PowerPoint presentation of Kyle Walker's career. Because Walker had a brilliant job at a very good Spurs. That Spurs team under Pochettino were better than Howe's Newcastle now. Walker could have stayed at Tottenham and had a fun career, sure. But he joins Man City and wins 6 Premier Leagues and a treble. I'm scared. Oh, another one! Oh! How many more of these do I have to do? So sick of bananas. Nottingham Forest, Morgan Gibbs White to Man City. I think Man City are going to have a massive monster transfer window. And they obviously need one because this season has been absolute burnt cat food. And it's no secret that they want Morgan Gibbs White from Wolves to compensate for the loss of KDB. And look, he's a good player, so I don't think that if he joins, we're suddenly going to witness a sequel to Scott Sinclair. No, he'll be a fine squad player. And yeah, with Nottingham Forest now being stuck in a competition that is about as prestigious as a Happy Meal toy, then yeah, I can see him wanting to quit. Sunderland, Joe Bellingham, Borussia Dortmund. Borussia Dortmund have done it again. They're signing another teenage Bellingham. This time, Joe Bellingham has agreed to join them from Sunderland, absolutely sacrificing his Premier League dreams. Is a Bellingham ever going to play in the Premier League? Or are Dortmund now just a Bellingham factory? I would love to know how good this player actually is. Are Dortmund only signing him because they're hoping that he's going to turn out nearly as good as his big bro? A bit like when Chelsea signed Thorgan Hazard, or when girls go on dates with Deji. I would love to see how good Job can actually be, because if he becomes a megastar at Dortmund too, then Jude and Job would be the best football brothers since Theo and Lucas Hernandez. So rare for a single woman to give birth to 2 future elite footballers. So I'm intrigued. Is he going to be class as well? Is he going to play for England too? If so, then somebody should really inspect his dad's DNA. What, was their mum drinking Popeye spinach during their pregnancies? Tottenham, Richarlison, Santos. Yeah, this one isn't linked at all. But I can just see Richarlison giving up on European football. After finally winning a trophy, yeah, I can see him squirming back to Brazil to replace Neymar at Santos, and why not? He's already got him creepily tattooed on his back. I'm guessing he'd probably jump at the chance to steal his shirt as well. West Ham, Mohamed Kudus, Al Hilal. I just know that Mohamed Kudus is about to break my heart, because a year ago, I was all aboard the Kudus train. He was an absolutely sizzling, sensational dribbler at West Ham. Another Sam Maximin, a pure Premier League baller who the streets will never forget. Yeah, ASM is someone I've been talking about being world class for years. And then he walked out of Newcastle just weeks before those epic Champions League nights to get a switch to Al Ahly at 26, and we barely heard from him since. Actually, no, what's even more sad for me, I love Sam Maximin, I love Mourinho. Last season, they fell out after Jose called him fat. He actually said the ASM was so overweight that he needs an elevator because he gets tired quickly on the stairs. Oh, come on guys, don't fight. It's like seeing your parents argue. I think Kudus chases the bag in Saudi too. Just a brilliant player who's gonna waste his peak. Wolves right at Nori Man City. Same as Tino Livramento. Man City need a revamp. And the last time Pep Guardiola had such a true monster overhaul in the summer, he brought in 2 new fullbacks. In came Walker and you must not be named. They then romp to 100 points. I think Livramento and Aït-Nouri are the two new fullbacks who are going to change the face of Man City. And I, for one, am scared. Anyway, that's the end of the video. Let me know in the comments. What do you think? All right, let me know. Am I wrong with these? Let me know. Who do you think is going to be sold next? Let me know in the comments. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. As always, I'll talk to you in a while.